Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for?
Sean is a master. He teaches. It's not just about sharing the formula with you. It's about making sure that we learn.
I went from $100,000 in debt from law school to having no money and starting my own law firm on my credit card to selling it 4 years later.
Sean and I, we co-created massive victories in 2 unwinnable jury trials, which are recognized nationally now as top 100 jury verdicts.
To be even on the same track with you, who I respect and admire and love with all my heart.
Never again submit. You're not better and you're not less than any human on earth.
When you shared with us about the unblinded process and the mastery sales training, I just went, wow.
Sean will gain proximity to the most influential and powerful people. He will find out how he can grow their business, how he can help them personally. But the third thing that he does is the most important. Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You have very, very high performing colleagues.
22 years ago, you transformed my life as you did all these people's lives over the course of time. And I couldn't be more grateful. Let's hear it for Tony Robbins.
I don't see him as a lawyer, and I don't see him as a blind person. Someone who has subjugated his ego, who has taught me what serving really looks like.
You have this incredible ability to just have unconditional love for everyone, and that is just an incredible gift.
The moment you have been waiting for.
The American Blind Association is the first new face and voice of that association since Helen Keller.
Formula for formulas, which is exactly what I've learned from Sean. It's a language-based predictable model. We will have over 300 new sales meetings this month.
This superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. If you believe that, say yes. If you believe that, say yes. Do you think that worked? I definitely do think that worked. It's Joseph Wexler's Heart of Influence on this fun Friday. Welcome as we explore the super influence with that interesting trifecta of sound. Bella Vrita, please, who's here?
First up on Joseph Wexler's National Thought Leaders Heart of Influence from Huntington, New York. Coming from payroll, transitioned to ensuring employees have access to supplemental platforms and a better understanding of their health benefits to make informed decisions for themselves and for their families. Recognized in the top 10 of 200K Circle of Champions, having helped 100,000 families with small businesses in a short quarter time. Let's welcome to the show, Dan Falco. And Dan was not here for my dissertation on the headline fun fact. I told David he was going to go first, and then I messed that up. So now there's a lot of pressure on you, Dan.
Dan, welcome to the Heart of Influence. Warm welcome to Joseph Wexler's show. And what we do, Dan, with the fun fact is it's a headline. So, for example, I'm a blind man that has taught sighted people to ski, surf, and scuba dive in the most extreme of conditions. That's a headline. Not a headline is, in 1975, Peter Benchley, his book Jaws, produced the movie Jaws. And I watched it as a child. Like, that's not a headline, right? So looking for headline fun fact, because Plato, the Greek philosopher, said, play a game with me for an hour and we will learn more about each other than if we speak for years. So it could be an adventurous moment, a proud moment, a surprising moment, funny moment, silly moment, humiliating moment, anything that will make us say, Dan,
no
way. So Dan, please, what is a headline fun fact about you?
Fun fact. That's the key word there. Fun fact. Headline fun fact would be now I'm a planner, but headline fun fact would be that I am a
Here's a fun fact, Dan. Being asked to give a fun fact makes you freak out. Is that a fair fun fact?
All right. Fun fact is something that makes my fun fact is I have I have really engaging tattoos.
Yes, that's a fun fact. How many tattoos do you have?
4.
Beautiful. And what is your favorite tattoo and why?
That would be my dog, Mason, who unfortunately, we lived a good long life together, 14 and a half years. He filled a lot of the inner child needs that I didn't get met by my parents, and I'm finally understanding what those were. And, I got it while he was alive. And that way it wasn't more of a kind of memento, but it was a celebration of life. And he was, the only person or being where I ever felt just unconditional love. And that's my boy, Mason.
Unbelievable. So straight up, here's case in point. We can all go home now. Is that I have no idea what you do for a living. I don't even remember. What I do remember is how much love you have in your heart, how deep, Dan, your pursuit of life and truth is, how much meaning there is possible in reaching your heart and your soul, because you loved your dog enough to feel true unconditional love, to have it tattooed Mason on you during Mason's life.
Mhm.
Am I hearing you correctly, Dan?
Yes, you are.
That's why we go to Fun Facts. Thank you so much for your courage and vulnerability. Great job. That's what it looks like. Bella Rita, who's here to join this man?
That's what it looks like from Tribeca NYC Experience, your broker and former director of business at an online trading company, invited to teach people option tradings, combining practical knowledge with wisdom. Transitioned from Wall Street trader to individual luxury real estate, working with high-end clients to build relationships and create impactful digital marketing strategies. Let's welcome to the show, David Robbins.
Well, David, you don't have to go as deep as Dan did, but you could. But, you could be like you beat Kobayashi in a hot dog eating contest. That could be a fun fact too. But please, over to you, David.
I raised $2,000 at a charity event playing 3-card Monte as the
yes.
So I have that. I have that unique skill of 3-card Monte. That's a unique skill. Speaking Spanish. Hole in one. Rubik's Cube.
Hole in one.
Yeah,
that's Rubik's Cube. This is 4 fun facts. So final one. Rubik's Cube. What about it?
Used to be able to do that with the guide.
Awesome.
Counted cards with the guide in casinos thrown out. So
that's 5 fun facts thrown out of casinos for card counting. Real quickly then. Let's go. Dealer showing a 6, and you have an ace-2. Do you double down or not? And the count is high positive.
You don't. You stand.
All right. This man can count cards, Bella Rita. We're having some fun here. Welcome, party. Love it. Let's go.
Let's go. Also coming from New York City, passionate about building relationships and networks, especially for young professionals. A leader experienced in commercial law and bankruptcy, he brought all his experience and talent to contribute Fordham University culture the past 2 years. Recently awarded Administration of the Year for RAM Connect, focus on expanding mentorships and professional development programs driven by AI to cause impact and Fordham. Let's welcome to the show, Jerry Goldstein.
The Fordham Rams are in the building. 7 blocks of granite. Vince Lombardi being evoked. Welcome to Joseph Wexler's Heart of Influence. And Jerry, please, your fun fact.
My fun fact is that during COVID, my wife walked into my office and said, when you're practicing law, you sound like you're going to strangle someone. But when you are mentoring and helping young students, you sound so happy. And I just want you to know, I like happy, Jerry.
That is a beautiful fun fact. Here's to strangling when lying and deceit is present. Within the bounds of law, ethics, and integrity, of course. Jerry, welcome to Joseph Wexler's Heart of Influence. Bella Rita, from heart-centered hugs to strangling, figuratively, ethically, integriously, and legally. Let's go, Belle.
That is fun. Next up, from Texas, but recently moved to North Carolina. She helps advisors confidently scale their virtual businesses by focusing on the essential foundations for growth. Understands the common challenges advisors face, such as unclear processes, confusing technology, and expensive marketing courses, and lack of proper coaching. Let's welcome to the show, Brianna Spears.
Here's to empowering humans. Welcome to Joseph Wexler's Heart of Influence, and please your fun fact, Brianna.
Thank you. So I was telling you this earlier, so I'm a rugby player, and I am also a national champion and level 200 coach in my community. So.
Whoa, that is super impressive. Love it.
Thank you.
So if we get into a scrum, you're the one to call.
That is exactly right. That's a good term. Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out that the USA women just won the bronze Olympic gold medal. So it's been huge for the growth of the sport, which was really cool to see.
Let's go. Scrums are coming, Bella Rita. I'll see you in the scrum. Let's go.
I'll see you in a scrum in New York, because that's where we're hanging out today. Approaches every task with dedication and effort, demonstrating resourcefulness and enthusiasm at every turn. A thirst for knowledge has enabled him to his own growth and rapidly into a well-rounded technology sales professional, has attained numerous professional gifts, and is now taking them to practice law and building sustainable business around it. Let's welcome to the show, Michael Gutman.
Michael, welcome to Joseph's Heart of Influence, and please, your fun fact.
Thanks for having me. So fun fact is I have traveled to Aruba, I think, close to 10 times now, and my retirement plan is to help create plans for Americans to actually be able to move to their destination, Caribbean or European or whatever country they want as part of their retirement. So that's what I really hope to do as I get into retirement age and work towards that goal.
Awesome. Here's to the Antilla, Sonesta Island, Baby Beach, the former Natural Bridge, which is now collapsed, the winds of Aruba. Am I hearing you correctly?
That is exactly what I am hearing and seeing every time I close my eyes.
Let's go. Bella Rita, Aruba, Michael, come on.
Aruba, Jamaica, come on, pretty mama, something. Okay, I'm going to say that. Next, let me introduce the man that brought us all together today from New Milford, New Jersey, president at large for a financial company, has transferred his financial planning expertise from Wall Street to accelerate and optimize finances for all. 68 win-win strategies in the first 2 months of this year alone. He has led with heart and integrity to cause financial wellness, whether it be a CEO or the receptionist, 11 upcoming speaking engagements on a national stage, and a proud husband and dad. Let's welcome to his show, Joseph Wexler.
Welcome to Fun Friday, your Heart of Influence. Thank you so much. This man does the things. We have a lot of folks that work with in the space of Unblinded. Joseph is one of the most integrous in this terminology. Integrity means, of course, he tells the truth, but integrous means that you do the things. Like you set out a process, you execute. Joseph Wexler is an executor at the highest level, an absorption machine, growth-minded, heart-centered. Joseph, thank you. Please, your fun fact.
Thank you, Sean. My fun fact is the reason for all of those things is my grandfather was an example of possibility for me. He traveled over here when he was 9 from Germany, fought in World War II, traveled to over 100 countries, put me and 15 of my cousins through college, and was a master carpenter in Bergen County.
Wow. Joseph, thank you, brother. That is a beautiful tribute to your grandfather. And shall we do the things?
Let's do it.
This extraordinary woman that's been making these introductions started her career in influence as an 8-year-old selling crafts on her parents' front lawn. By the age of 19, this entrepreneurial spirit had shifted and grown into the space of network marketing, where she was a 7-figure business generator at 19 years old. Who does that? 24, 25, 26, she continues to emerge, three-peating like Michael Jordan, except not in hoops, but instead as Nevada's #1 business broker. 24 years old, male-dominated industry, the first woman ever to be Nevada's #1 business broker, and the youngest person, male or female, at 24 ever to be #1, let alone 3 straight times. She begins to train entrepreneurs and Fortune 500 companies. In fact, in 2019, every, did I say every sales team she worked with doubled their sales. Skier, surfer, scuba diver, adventurer in the most extreme of conditions, probably right now based on YouTube, or maybe on a better day, she learned it from a blind man. She's a 2-time, about to be 3-time published author and philanthropist, raising $10 million plus for charity over the past 2.5 years with the Unblinded team. And in 2023, this woman that put the heart in the heart of influence publicly battled and defeated cancer. Let's welcome to Joseph Wexler's Heart of Influence, the one, the only, Bella Verita. Miss Bella Verita, hello, happy Fun Friday, and please your fun fact.
Happy Fun Friday. And my fun fact is yesterday at a grand opening for our new location in Denver, Colorado, and I had about 45 people here that 3 weeks I did not know, and put together a shared experience of 45 women in 3 weeks. So I had a grand opening yesterday, and that's my fun fact for today.
That's the power of yes, the power of influence with integrity and know where to apply it. Amazing, magical, Bella Verita. Please, shall we?
We shall, but we just had a new guest join us. So I'm going to introduce him. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the Heart of Influence, coming from Casa Grande, Arizona. Overcame 5 years of homelessness, jail, and personal loss due to a loss to develop a unique wellness process for living a healthy lifestyle and beyond recovery. I love it when they put sentences in here that don't make sense. Life coach and licensed substance recovery counselor, leverage personal experience to connect deeply with empowered others, focus on building pathways to personal growth, expansion, and financial abundance through partnerships. Let's welcome to the show, Paul Appleby.
How you doing this day? Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Joseph's Heart of Influence, and please, your fun fact. It's a headline, not a story, Paul, please.
A fun fact. My dad played in the Negro Leagues, and he used to tell stories about Satchel Paige and different people, and I didn't believe him a lot because he was really told a lot of stories until one day we had a game and there was a guy on second base. We were down by 3, and he called the pitcher's name, and the pitcher threw him the ball. He sidestepped the ball, rolled into the dugout, and he just started hollering, "Come on in, come on in. Everybody come on in." We wound up winning. So I'm a storyteller, as my dad is.
Well, Satchel Paige, many say, greatest pitcher of all time. That's extraordinary. Thank you for what your dad did as a trailblazer and all that he endured, for sure. And Paul, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
Bella Verita, shall we do the things?
Yeah, let me introduce my co-host, the man that Tony Robbins said, there's no one who leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callagy. He beats world champions like Becky at body surfing competitions. He's only one of 2 attorneys to win 2 top 100 national jury verdicts between 2014 and 2016, and the only one that's blind out of 1.2 million attorneys. In fact, the state of New Jersey actually named him one of New Jersey's most influential attorneys. He has spoken on stages such as Disney, T-Mobile, Salesforce, Tony Robbins 18 times, just spoke at MasterCard. When he's not busy flying around speaking on stages, he's an incredible philanthropist that raised nearly $10 million for refugees in the Ukraine. Let's welcome my co-host, Sean Callagy.
Wexler, warm welcome to all of you heart-centered growth mind folks that Joseph has brought here today. And I often go with this as my fun fact that I'm a blind man that's taught sighted people to ski, surf, and scuba dive in the most extreme of conditions. And while I was surfing less than a year ago, a shark bit my surfboard. But today, because of the baseball reference that Paul just brought in, prior to my eye disease taking a deeper foothold than it has by now. I was the Columbia University baseball captain, has a Fordham intersection as well. In 1992, I was a 4-year Division I starter, Ivy League runner-up for Rookie of the Year my freshman year. So that's my fun fact for today, Bella Vreda.
That is a super fun fact, Sean.
Thank you so much. And please, Bella, who's going first?
Let's kick it off with David Robbins.
David, this is what we're doing. We're exploring the superpower of influence because everything happens after we cause yes. And what could be a greater superpower than that? So Bella will be anybody you want her to be to illustrate this point. She could be an ideal client. She could be a charitable fundraising partner. Heck, she could be somebody famous like Oprah Winfrey or Warren Buffett, anybody that you want to have a conversation that ends in yes. We're not looking for pitching, hooking, closing, yuck. But what does it look like when heart-centered, sophisticated people come together and a yes should actually happen? Footnote, it doesn't have to be a sale. It doesn't have to be an ultimate yes. It could just be a yes for a longer conversation. So please, who would you like Bella Vreda to be?
How about a prospective home buyer?
Amazing. Bella, you're looking. Let's go.
All right. Hello, this is Bella.
Bella, I understand you're looking to relocate to sunny, awesome Fort Lauderdale.
That is true. You heard correctly.
Well, I'd like to congratulate you on your choice and
Thank you.
hopefully be a part of your team of resources that can all align to help you. I have to step at it. Am I supposed to be getting you? Oh, am I supposed to be getting you to say yes to coffee right now? Okay, Bella, would you like? Would you like to meet next week on Tuesday morning at 8:30 for coffee?
Well, can I ask a couple questions? Because I'm interviewing a couple different realtors to see who we're gonna go with and who I feel. So can you tell me a little bit about how long you've been in the industry? Because I'm really looking for like a castle, like a beachfront castle.
Yeah,
Like I want the the steeple in the front that overlooks the ocean. So I'm looking for something pretty specific. Can you?
Yeah, that's kind of what I specialize in. And our team has decades of experience in selling beachfront estates. Are you looking to build or buy something that's been renovated, or are you open to different possibilities?
Well, I mean, do you know of many castles on the beach? If there's one that's already done, I'd like not to have to renovate it, but
I do. And as important as seeing that castle is understanding the process in front of you and some of the challenges that you'll face and that we will face together. And some of those things are easier talked about if we meet in person.
well, if you think you have some castles that you can show me on the beach, I definitely want to meet.
Awesome. So I'll set it up and I'll have the juice chilled.
Sounds good to me. Having juice with David in a castle.
Let's go. Thank you, David. Bella, who's next?
Next we have Dan.
Dan, who would you like Bella Vreda to be?
Oh, are you on mute? Oh no.
Who you want to be? You can be a, let's just say a broker, a medical benefits broker, practice lead that I am trying to talk to around a potential partnership, like an official signed partnership. And I work currently at my organization, HealthJoy. And we have a couple clients, but we know that there's a lot more that we could work on. And I'm trying to get you to agree to a conversation around more.
Okay, so I'm a health benefits broker. Is that what it was?
Yeah, you're a health benefits broker, but you are in charge of the entire office. You're a regional benefits lead, like the practice lead.
I like being in charge, Dan.
You like being in charge? What's so great about being in charge?
Hello, this is Bella.
Hi, Bella. This is Dan Falco over at HealthJoy. We were speaking last week and you told me to give you a call right around now. Is it still a good time?
It is still a good time. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I know that we have a lot of mutual clients together. I think we just brought on our fifth. And really, when we approach this when we approach this area of mutual clients, we think that it might be a good conversation to have a more detailed look at what being an official partner really looks like. Because right now we're a little bit more of a vendor, and really what the warm and fuzzies kind of go through the details and how we really can help you expand your book of business.
All right. And what does that look like?
Yeah, actually, so what that looks like is we have new clients that all get which we bring on when we bring them on, they get a Welcome to Health Joy package. We also have discounted and preferred pricing, additional marketing materials. I'm actually also running a breakfast briefing webinar series for all of my official broker partners throughout the next 2 months, because this is our prime time selling season, and that's where I'm actually going to dedicate 40 minutes every week and have specific topics which the account managers and producers can stop by and actually see more details around that topic as well. So that's why I'm kind of bringing this to you now, because with October, the end of October is our cutoff date. So I want to try to actually get some official availability for your team to really get out there and crush it this selling season.
I definitely want my team to crush it in this selling season. So Dan, let's schedule something for a little bit longer of a meeting and see if it makes sense.
All right, perfect. So I'll send you over a couple times right now for next week. Let me know which one works best for you. And if none of them work, make 2 or 3 alternate suggestions, and I'm sure I'll be able to finagle things around that. We'll get on the calendar.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Bella.
Awesome. Thank you for that, David and Dan. Let's get to the feedbackers, Bellavita, please.
Let's get to the feedbackers, otherwise known as judges. Judges, this is the time in the show that we get to give back in the form of feedback. So it's going to be 30 seconds of feedback for either David or Dan, something that they did great, something that they could do to improve, and then a little scoring system as to what the next steps would be. Are the next steps you'd rather go to the dentist and have a root canal than have a longer meeting with David or Dan? Hopefully no one's going to need a root canal today. So maybe that next step is a little mocha chocolate and croissante at Starbucks for a little bit longer of a meeting, get to know one another. But if you're so intrigued and you don't think a cup of coffee is quite enough time, you would be willing to rent a private room at the Capitol Grill, getting the seafood tower and the nice juicy steak. Unless you're a vegan, of course, maybe you're having salad and French fries, but you're not going to skip out on dessert because you want to have the longest meeting possible. And if that's not enough time, then you would be willing to rent a private jet, fly anywhere in the world to have the longest meeting with David or Dan. So let's kick this off with Brianna. And Brianna, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for David?
Yeah, so I think this applies to David and Dan both. One of the things I do a lot when I'm trying to, I guess, get people to say yes to whatever it is I'm doing, my business partner says money follows value. And so when you're speaking to somebody, I think it's helpful. I knew right away, like what each of you did, but I didn't know a ton about the prospect. And so I think like maybe, I guess my feedback would be when trying to get them to say yes, Dan, I understood the value that you were going to give her more so than I did David's necessarily right away. But I would say like, figuring out what's going on with her, because I know more about both of you than her. And so ultimately we're the ones trying to help them, and people will pay us a lot of money by how the problems we can solve. So that was my feedback.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Brianna. And what would your next step be? Would you like have a cup of coffee, maybe a long dinner in a private room, Capitol Grill or something, or a private jet ride? Like what would come next?
I mean, I really want to know about these castles on the beach. So in my opinion, like I think having a dinner with Dave would be cool. And then same with Dan, because again, I understand the value he was providing. So it's good.
Let's go. Castles on the beach. Let's go, Bella.
Let's go. Next up, we have Paul. Paul, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Dan?
Can I first say that I came in running kind of late. I didn't know I was a judge. So I'm going to just give it the best shot I can.
Yeah.
With it.
All you do is call the balls and strikes on Satchel Paige. That's all.
Thank you, sir, for the motivational speech. David, I guess my 30 seconds would be related to when I'm talking with a prospective client. I'd like to try and come from a position of a little bit more excitement in what I'm selling or what I'm trying to offer, and try and catch their what I'm hearing and what I know about them, and add a little flavor to my speech. Like, I know what I'm doing, I feel good about what I'm doing, I'm excited about what I'm doing, and this is what it is, what we have to offer. I know that you're looking for something along the lines of castles on the beach, and this is what can be offered to you. In fact, even later, would you meet me there at the castle on the beach, and we'll lay in the sand a little bit and talk a little bit, put your feet, take your shoes off, rub our toes in the sand, and enjoy the beach, enjoy the water rushing
So
in.
what would the next step be? Would you have a cup of coffee to continue the conversation?
I tried to throw that in. I tried to throw that in.
You'd be going to the beach. You'd be going
to the beach, hanging out, talking a little bit more, putting our feet in the sand, and let them get kind of used to looking at the sight of the water and the waves rushing in.
Bella Verita, we're gonna put our feet in the sand on Monday. It's like the theme of the day. Can you feel that?
I can feel it. I can feel the sand in my toes.
A little surfing on Monday. Are you up for some surfing on Monday, Bella Verita?
I'm up for some surfing on Monday.
Let's go.
I promise I might not feed you to sharks. Ask me again in a couple of hours. We'll see.
I might feed you to sharks. Let's go.
Feed me to sharks. Why would you want to feed me to sharks?
Yes.
Let's go, Jerry. Jerry, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for David?
So I think there could have been more probing to figure out what your pain point was. You came right out and asked if you had castles. So he didn't really have a choice but to go there. But there could have been more discussion and probing to see why you were at that place. And I guess the next step would be to get together with you and do some more probing and figure out how you arrived at that decision.
Awesome. Well, Jerry, thank you for that. And the next step would be a little cup of coffee, private room dinner, beach dinner, private jet. What comes next, Jerry?
A cup of coffee to figure out next steps.
Yeah, we need a little caffeine, right, before we start jumping on jets and going to the sand. That's what I'm hearing from Jerry. Bella, who's next?
That's what I'm hearing. Let's go, Michael. Michael, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Dan?
Or Dan, sure. So I'll start with briefly, good job for both people. I know how hard it is to do the mock, the fake interview, the fake trial. So great job. For Dan, I would just say more active listening, I think, and then trying to get more information from the client, from the person. Really trying to get to know them, especially on the first call, even though they're going to say yes, and because that was the setup. I always think it's better to just try to really get that personal connection going as soon as possible.
Awesome. And what the next step be, Michael?
I think both parties were trying to get like a meeting or like an in-person, and you don't always have to go straight for that. It could be as simple as just another phone call, especially just trying to build that relationship, find out something they like. Maybe if they like coffee, go something as simple as coffee. Maybe sending them an email, just setting up another call.
Awesome. Well, Michael, thank you for that. Bella Verita got some caffeine flowing.
Caffeine is flowing. Let's go. Last but not least, Mr. Joseph Wexler, how about your 15 seconds of feedback and a score for each of the participants?
Oh, wow. Thank you. For David, I really like the idea that he went with your idea about a castle. I've never heard of castles. I was literally just spending a second looking up all the castles that are in Florida, and I would definitely jet set just to see some castles with him down there. And I did hear a little bit that he was informing you that when you came back, you would, he would be able to help you out. And then for Dan, I really like the idea that he knows that you've hit a threshold where you need his services. And I would definitely go to Capital Grille to understand how to increase your revenue with him.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Joseph, you know what time it is? It's not in my contract. She makes me do it. I can't say no. It's Fun Friday. Just take it easy on me, brother. It's been a long week. Bella, over to you.
Yes. Since Sean wants me to be nice to him, I'm definitely not going to be nice to him right now. And I've got 3 scenarios, Sean, Joseph, that you get to choose which scenario that Sean goes from hello to yes on. We're going to see if he can flex his influence muscles, because maybe Dan and David, maybe they knew what they were doing. Maybe they didn't. You can change any one of my scenarios, or you can make up something on your own. Are you ready to hear what I have for today?
100%. Let's go.
All right. Since Brianna helps scale virtual businesses, I read online that there is a virtual business that is a virtual invisible boyfriend or girlfriend. And this business, they'll exist on social media, they will exist on text messages, but they do not exist in real life, but they'll be your invisible boyfriend through social media or text messages. And the owner of this business needs some help scaling. So option number 1 is Sean would role play Brianna, going from hello to yes with the founder of the invisible boyfriend girlfriend virtual business, and help them scale. So that is option number 1. Option number 2 is, we know Johnny Depp's going through a little bit of financial trouble. And so 2 options for you is option number 1 is, Depp has got to downsize his house in Fort Lauderdale, and he does so he can pay off all of his debts. He doesn't want to downsize, but he's got to face the fact that he needs a downsize and he's looking for a new house. So Sean would role play David, going from hello to yes with Depp, who doesn't want to downsize, but convincing him he's going to have to downsize and he should be his agent. So that is option number 2. And then option number 3 is, since Depp is having some bankruptcy issues, role play number 3 is Sean would role play Jerry, going from hello to yes with Depp to help him through his bankruptcy situation and financial situation. So those are the options I got for you today, Joseph.
I'm sorry I didn't cut you off, because how could we not go with number 1? How can we not? We have to do number 1. So
we have to do, okay. And what would be a good name? Because it didn't give, what would be a good name for this invisible boyfriend girlfriend business?
Invisibo.
Right.
What is it?
Invisibo.
Invisibo. Okay. And so Joseph, who should play the founder of Invisibo?
Let's go with Michael.
Michael, are you up for playing the founder of Invisibo? And Sean is going to role play Brianna.
Sure.
All right.
And what's the yes I'm seeking as Brianna?
So Brianna's a consultant that helps virtual businesses scale. So you're going to convince Michael to hire you to scale Invisibo.
Got it. Okay. So hello, is Michael available?
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Hey, Michael. We had a 3-minute call scheduled for today. It's Brianna. Is it still a good time for you?
Yeah, sure. This is fine.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you very much. I know how busy you are. I know I have 2 minutes and 50 seconds and counting. I want the time, but I'm curious, what prompted you, Michael, to say yes to this meeting in the first place?
So we have a great product right now. We're growing quickly. We have this fake relationship service that we offer clients, and apparently it's a big hit. But we want to 10x that, hopefully by this time next year, definitely by Q4 of next year.
Wow. Well, congratulations on your impact, your growth, and hitting this vein, this nerve for people. Can I ask this, Michael? So what's the ultimate why for you? Why 10x? Obviously, you want to create revenues and grow profit, but is there something deeper than this? Or this was sort of just an interesting thought that just took off, and you're like, hey, let's financially capitalize? Or is there some deeper meaning associated to your why, Invisibo's why? Please.
I'll be honest, this kind of started off as a joke to some degree. And the fact that it's blown up to this level, it's almost like an internal challenge to myself and my other early employees and the team to see just how much of an impact we can have on society. And we found that we're doing a lot of good work for a lot of people that had this missing part of their life now is being fulfilled.
Well, thank you for that. And it's really critical for the folks that I'm going to work with in the space there's a little deeper meaning that resonates very powerfully for me. So thanks for showing your heart and what you're up to. So in our final minute or so, can I share a couple quick thoughts to see where we go from here?
Yeah, and that's why we're on the phone. I'd love to hear your thoughts about how this can go down.
So I've done a bunch of research. I work with virtual companies. I have deep mastery in the growing, building, scaling of them. And what I see with Invisibo is the potential to exit this company for $1 billion in 5 years. So I've run a bunch of numbers. I've seen the footprint, understand the marketplace, and there's this like beautiful combination of fun and humor. So people just check out the site. The people are moving forward and pulled towards you just because it's so funny and odd. Howard Stern, and I'm not saying I agree with his approach, once said that the number one base of his fans were people that listened because they loved him and were empowered by him. The next, like right behind that, were people who listened to him because they couldn't stand him. And both said the same thing. They were so viscerally curious that they couldn't wait to see what happened next. And I think Invisibo hits this nerve. There's some people who are outraged, like this dynamic of fake relationship and all of it, but there's people who it deeply resonates with. Whereas in the advent of AI, the advancement of things, people don't want stress. They don't want to be aggravated. So if there's this feeling of fulfillment with gamification in the space of love, people have been approaching this since the dawn of time, both real human beings. Now you've created something so magical. So we've done some focus groups. We've looked at the potential scaling. We looked at investor decks as well. And we truly have blueprinted something that we think could be a 5-year plan to $1 billion exit. So if there's some resonance here with that, I have references, we'll get numbers. All I'm simply proposing to you, Michael, is a 30-minute follow-up conversation so we could walk through what we believe could be this approach, not only to a 10x over the course of 12 months, which certainly is achievable, but this $1 billion exit strategy. So Michael, please, how would it resonate with you or not to have a 30-minute follow-up meeting where we could walk through the numbers and facts?
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. Maybe put down an hour and maybe we can meet in person over some coffee. I know we're a virtual company, but I do like to work with our vendors.
Beautiful. And I got this friend who sells castles, so maybe we can even like put our feet in the sand, run through the numbers, and check out some castles. How does that sound?
As long as there's a coconut you can drink out of a straw.
Let's go. I will supply the coconuts and straw drinking all the way. Out of roll, Michael, how'd I do is Brianna having a conversation about Invisibo, please.
Great. I think the expertise came through at the end. You kind of like built it a little bit towards being able to bring it all together. I'm a big fan of active listening. I know I mentioned it a little earlier, but just you can see in your expression in your face that you're actually listening, and that's really important, especially as you're talking to people. It's hard to do. It's probably the hardest skill that I do not have, just for the record, but that we try every day. So that was really nice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Michael. And really thank you for being here. Thank you for jumping into that fun role, but one that demonstrates something. And your feedback today is appreciated. Your mastery is felt and present. And Michael, and final, how was your time today overall on Joseph Wexler's Heart of Influence?
Wonderful experience. I had no idea what I was walking into, very honestly. And so far, I'm just very thankful for the invite and just great group of people. Hopefully we get to know each other a little more. Sure. There's never enough time in these little hour-long sessions, but good to meet everybody.
Thank you for that, Michael. Really wonderful work. Brianna, thanks for letting me step in as you. Really appreciate your feedback, your energy. It was certainly felt and present today. Brianna, how was your time today on Joseph Wexler's Heart of Influence?
It was awesome. Yeah, same thing like Michael. I wasn't 100% sure what I'd be walking into, but sometimes as an influencer in my space, socially and also in work, I forget sometimes to be reminded of like how important it is to like active listen, like these things. I do them all the time, but it's good to stop for a second, like this hour, and remind myself to utilize that even more going forward. So it's been good for my growth as a leader as well.
Cool. Well, thank you for that, Brianna. Congratulations on all you're up to. And let's go with David. Thanks for jumping into the participant seat. Never an easy place to be, David. Did wonderful work. And David, please, how was your time today on Joseph's Heart of Influence?
Eye-opening, enlightening. It was a reminder that even though I train for these moments, I'm not always happy with the results. I know from my beliefs that listening and probing the whys are what I get into, but yet on this moment on the stage, I was relatively not really myself. So I just went with that. Some people reminded that about the listening and probing that, which is important, you know, even in real estate, never mind the world. So that was enlightening. And then the whole experience was unique in its construction and in its form and lack of form. So that would be my favorite.
And I love the fun fact with 8,000 people have been on this show. So you guys joined that ecosystem of 8,000. So thank you since the dawn of COVID, which is what prompted the show. We had a 1,300 person initial unblinded event in January, and we were like rolling. I'm like, yay, like here we go. And then COVID shut the world down. And this show was what kept us moving forward during COVID. And then we're like, this is amazing. This is better than doing some of the live events that we do. Let's just keep meeting incredible people through this prism. So thank you for joining that and for your courage and vulnerability in that process. So thank you, David. Bella, we have some other heart-centered, growth-minded folks.
Let's go to our other participants. Phenomenal job in the participant seats. Got some engaging tattoos, he says. And how was your time with us on the Heart of Influence, Dan?
It was good. I will mirror some of David's thoughts in that, like, sometimes you think you're prepared or, you know, you're kind of good off the cuff, and the importance of slowing down, being prepared, doing your research around, because I really didn't know what I was walking into. It's Friday before Labor Day weekend, busy week of work. I'll be honest. So, you know, just, you know, a little bit of a humbling. And I think that those are good moments, and it's good to have those in front of, you know, people that are genuinely here to, you know, that care, right? They're here for the right reasons. So yeah, but I'm still happy that I came and that I joined, and yeah, these are experiences like I'm never gonna forget this. Like at its core, you know, I never remember just I just hopped on a random Zoom and met, you know, 8 people I've never met before that are all just kind of coming here together just for everyone to support everybody, and yeah, so I'm happy that I did it.
Awesome, brother. Well, from someone who did a wonderful job, who my first speaking engagement ever was running for class president in 7th grade and bombing so horrifically that in the 115 people in my 7th grade class, I voted for myself and one other person did. And I'm not even sure that my girlfriend actually voted for me, and maybe she lied. So from that to the first time I stood up in front of 5,000 people on Tony Robbins' stage, and humbly blew the roof off the building. And the journey between those two places is simply a journey of mastery. And what we talk about all the time is the superpower of causing yes. But it's not only just like the causing of yes, it's with integrity and like which yeses for scaling and growth. And we have fun with that. Thanks for stepping into the dojo because we don't want to do this. And it's not what is present in our educational model, which I think is completely insane. As an Ivy League graduate and a law school graduate, top of my class, like you don't learn this anywhere, and that's crazy. And you did a great job. You guys really did, David and Dan. So thank you for that, Bella.
Thank you. And let's go, Mr. Paul. Thank you for joining us, scooting in right in time. And how was your time with us on the Heart of Influence?
Let me say this, Ms. Bella. How can you prepare for something that you don't know what to expect for? And I think the ability to go forward, and even though it was a little frightening for me, but the fact that I know that I was not going to be judged, it's just making an effort to go forward. And knowing what I do know now about Unblinded, I'm happy that I was asked by Joe to join this process today. And I'm looking for something. When I first seen Sean, I'm not going to be long, website. I don't know if you all are familiar with the fact my wife passed away 2 years ago, and so I've been in a cocoon and looking for something. And I went to the when I first seen as Sean talk, and then meeting everyone else, it kind of met me in my heart. So I'm glad to be a part. And I live in Tucson.
Wow. Well, Paul, didn't know any of those details. So thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. Hearts are present. And I don't say something trite, all right? As a blind man though, right?
Yes, sir.
I do believe that God makes all things work together for good. That's
Yes, sir.
tragic life. I'm feeling the resonance of your heart. Welcome back. And I am quite confident that your greatest days are still ahead, Paul. I can feel it. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. And last but not least, before we get to our co-host, his wife likes him when he's teaching. Jerry, how was your time with us on the Heart of Influence?
Well, I get to work with Joe 2 or 3 times a year, where we come together and we mentor students, and we have a positive outcome for a bunch of people. You can always trust that Joe will be someone that boosts morale. He will be engaging, and this show today was no different.
Jerry, appreciate your fun fact and the energy you brought today. Great job.
Thank you.
So, Bella, does that bring us to the man who made us all?
It does.
Man of the hour. So, Joseph, thank you for everything you did. Heart-centered, growth-minded actualizer. Like, that resonates powerfully. It's a word we use often, but Joseph represents actualization. And so many people talk, they think, they study, they become cookie monsters for knowledge. This dude implements and executes. So Joseph, from that place, please, your final on today.
This is the most heart I've ever had in a show. And from Dan's share to Paul's, to yours, Sean, to Jerry, I have tears filling my eyes, 3 times during this show. So I just want to say that when you lead with heart, you open listening. And Michael, it might not be yet that you're there, that you're having those conversations, but it's a yet for all of us. And life brings the unexpected. So we have to show up and we have to be prepared for the unexpected. We have to be prepared for our clients. If we're not a 9 and they need us to be, we're not getting the yeses that we need to give to them. And last but not least, we have more to do together. We have more money, more time, and more impact. And all the answers are in this room. And if they're not in this room, go find them because they're out there. You're not alone, and people are here to help.
Oh, amazing, Joseph. Thank you, brother, for that. And along those lines, we have 3 gifts. These are not cookies. It's not a bottle of wine, and it's not a ChatGPT throwaway funnel hooking device. Instead, these are value-added, real things. So first is the opportunity next Wednesday to come back and meet other extraordinary people who've been on the Heart of Influence, and people from the Unblinded ecosystem. There'll be 110, 120 people that will be there. And these fine folks will be in the dojo advancing our level of influence with distinctions that look like magic, but are actually advanced science. So that's number 1. Next Wednesday, you're invited. Number 2, we have our ebook on group influence. We have a hardcover book, but you guys get our ebook. We'll provide that for you. This ebook, what if it's your textbook on public speaking, leadership management? You go, another book on that stuff? Do we really need that? The answer is yes, because when I looked for it, I couldn't find it. So we created it over the past 27 years. That's allowed me to pay $125 million in salaries to people and companies that I own 100% of the equity of. And it's been a gift and a journey, and we continue to grow and scale and take this work to the world. That's our gift to you. Second, third, a business acceleration session. Nothing will be sold to you in the session. Nothing will be sold to you next Wednesday either. We believe in value, but what will happen in that session is uncovering the blocks between you and exponential growth. We guarantee that. And these are our gifts to you because of Joseph and your presence here today. Thank you for all of that and your courage and vulnerability. And Rita, please, your final.
And my final is, Joseph, I couldn't agree with you more. Just a beautiful group of individuals together. Of course, you were all hand selected by Joseph to be here. So definitely follow up with him and see, what more there is to do together, and check out the links that we put in the chat for you. They, as Sean said, they're not throwaways. You're not going to end up in a funnel, They really are truly gifts to accelerate your money, time, and magic if that's something that you want. So thank you all for being here. And Sean, back to you.
Yeah, thank you all. We end every show by saying this. What if you didn't allow anyone to love your dreams more than you? What if? I may be physically blind, which I am, but I'm absolutely certain as to the possibilities for acceleration of our money, time, or impact in the world. Those opportunities so often sit right in front of us, but at some level, whether we are sighted or not, at some level, we are all blind.
And just learning to see. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, Joseph. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Great job. Thank you.